Okay, here's the baby again, November 7th, 1980. There's that and all the special stuff. I'm gonna show you the next two November 1980s. Watch. You're gonna follow this. I've searched everything. There is a July 2nd. There's Claudia's and my dad's on the prophet's birth year, but let me not get distracted with that. I'm tempted to show all kinds of things over here. I want to keep this simple. I stay in this row. Yep, stay in this row. And look, we just passed the July 2nd. And there's all kinds of stuff over here. Claudia, look, a Dennis right there, Claudia. And yes, there's order. But let me not get distracted with that. So, this cat is distracting me. Hold on a second. Yeah, there's an errand somewhere. So this is the row. The November 7th, 1980 is in. I should have walked this first before I did this so that I can get my memory correct. Okay. Well, I skipped an errand unless it's okay. So here it is, November 27th, 7 years after my parents were married, on November 27th, 1973. It has two prophets' first names, Joseph and Howard, and it has my birth week, November 2nd, on Gordon B. Hinckley's birth year. Probably not coincidence. Look at this. It has all my patterns. It has the November 7th, 1980. Now look at this. My mom's birthday, September 12th. Coincidence? My daughters. My mom, my daughter. Now, this cat is already ruining my video. Let me show you why this is not a coincidence. There's the September 12th. Look at this. 7 days from Howard W. Hunter's birth. Coincidence? Look at the very next one. 3 days from Harold B. Lee's birth. I've never seen that on the same stone. Never. I've seen other things stronger than this, but in different ways. I've never seen anything stronger than this one in this particular way. The spouses, both prophets, two prophets, unusually represent, including one prophet's death date, November 19th, Joseph F. Smith. But look at this. Mount St. Helens, May 18th, 1980, erupted. Is the Lord pointing to a big birth? Why is it directly across from the September 12th and kitty corner from the November 27th, 1980? And look at this. Next to the November 27th, 1980, like I say, my mom, my daughter, look, the very next one, it's got my grandfather John's name and my grandma Dorothy. They were married. Both of them are prophets' birth years, 1927 and Nelson, 1924. I'm tempted to show a lot more. And here, I'll just show a little more, actually. There's those. Look, you go down, here's a 1980. Oh, and I was wrong, there's one more November 1980. Let me see, so here's this. Now look at this. You have 3 days from Nelson's birth. Switch the 6 and you have the September 9th. You have a September 8th going diagonal. Maybe that part's coincidence, but that's unusual. Look, you have the Aaron pattern, A-R-O-N. Look, there's the September 9th, as if the Lord's confirming my interpretation. A Myron, David Law. And look at this. You have the November 3rd, 1980, 4 days from my birth. You have the August 14th, 5 days from Elder Anderson's birth and less than a month from my mom. With my brother's birthday, June 15th. So, look, April 12th, the one that I tie my mom to the most. April 12th. Right there. That part might not be coincidence, but look. And then look at this. You have a November prophet with an Aaron pattern again, with 6 days from my mom's birth, 1951, with a November prophet. You have the Aaron pattern again. And these form lines. I'm tempted to show them, but I shouldn't. 14 graves down from that. Watch. 14 graves down is a November 14th. 14 graves down. And then, oh, there's the Aaron I was looking for. I missed it. It's in the same row as the November 7th, 1980 baby, and the November 27th, 1980. Look at that. And look at the next one. It's got my patriarchal blessing year with an ordination symbol of John Taylor. John Taylor, October 10th, 1880. So it's got an ordination symbol of a president of the church on my patriarchal blessing year. These are not coincidence. Those are literally the only November 1980s anywhere. There's no way. There's simply no way. And I'm so tempted to show more. And this Aaron, look at this. He's next to a Los Angeles temple. He's in that row with the 2 births that are super close to the prophets. So he's in this row. So he's kitty corner from the, well, kinda down there a little from the other Aaron. And I will show one more just to demonstrate. Just to demonstrate here. I guess he wants to play with me or something. Okay, here it is. I'm so tempted to show more. Okay, this. Okay. First of all, it's next to a March 21st, 1951. But anyways, I don't want to confuse. So November 27th. Look, it hits this November 27th on a prophet's birth year. You got a November 2004. That part could be a coincidence, but look, 2 November 27th. Watch, right through the tree. I've studied this one a lot, so I know. Look, it hits the 3rd, November 27th, 1980, so that's 3. Look, you keep going. And look, it's literally perfect. The next November 1980, which represents transition. Joseph F. Smith died on November 19th. So, and you do get a November 7th going diagonal. Plus you get the May 18th, Mount St. Helens, 1980. And I'm tempted. I'm literally tempted to just keep going. I'm telling you, there's a Vera right here. This is too long. Look, November, I'm telling you, it's strong. It's strong. If I keep going, the video will be too long. It's strong. There's all kinds of order in proximity. I'm telling you, it's not coincidence. let me see here real fast. Here's that. And you know what? I might as well, if I can. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this at all. Okay, look at this. 2 September 12ths, my mom's. 2 of them. They obviously passed it. Look, the next one, November 7th. On a November 7th, well, the first day, November 7th, Apostles' Year. Look, Los Angeles Temple, where my mom is from. Look, AMI. Coincidence? Watch. It forms a line. It goes over the Sharon, January 14th, an ordination. Sharon. I'm not saying all of it is meant to be, I'm taking up. It goes over the Sharon. It hits this. And then look at this. Look at this. It's a November 7th Apostles, month and year, 3 days after his birth, with an ordination symbol, November 10th. Is the Lord saying a November 7th apostle is going to be ordained president of the church? Look at Carl, my old bishop's name. Good bishop. It's got the November and the 7 going diagonal. On the year I was going to turn 7 in November 1987. Coincidence? Look at this. November 8th, 1980, one day after my birth, the day one of the biggest earthquakes in California hit, in the area that I ended up living in, Crescent City. The epicenter was not there, but they felt it in Crescent City. Like, things were knocked off of their shelves. I've read all about it. That's also the town of Tsunami hit in 1964 as well. Just happens to be the area that I lived. It hit that very day. Who's he talking about here? There's no way that this is coincidence. Look at this. It goes right through the Sharon, which has the Aaron, the prophetic birth, and then the November 7th with the AMI, which is backed up by the September 12th, the 2 of them that defy the odds on the 1964. So you do kind of have to start at the corner where the November 7th is, see? And then you go through and you go right here. You go about 1/3 way for the Sharon. And then it hits about 1/3 way through this, on this side. And by the way, there's more here. This forms a line through like 2 Veers and a Fay. Like that, the other lines are even better. But I know if I show too much, I'll just lose people. This is not coincidence.